The New York stock market plunged again on April 3rd local time. Following April 3rd, the reciprocal tariffs announced by President Trump on April 2nd local time, a method of imposing a uniform 10% tariffs on all countries around the world that trade with the United States and imposing differentially high tariffs on about 60 countries that have a trade surplus with the United States. A 34% tariff was imposed on Chinese imports. In response, China announced on April 3rd that it would impose an additional 34% tariffs on all United States imports starting April 10th. As fears of inflation and recession spread to the U.S., President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs, the New York Stock Exchange, the world's financial center, lost $3 trillion, about 4,500 trillion won in market capitalization in just one day on the 3rd local time. The additional $2.4 trillion in tariff revenue expected by the Trump administration during its fourth-year term has far exceeded this amount. Concerns that reciprocal tariffs could reduce the profits of U.S. companies and cause inflation and economic recession have become a reality. Many major U.S. companies produce overseas, and in this case, they bear the same tax burden as the target country of the tariffs. On April 2nd local time, US President Donald Trump announced that he would impose a 25% tariff on all products imported from Korea. China will be subject to a 30% tariff, and Japan will be subject to a 24% tariff. However, the White House indicated the tariff rate for Korea as 26% in the attached executive order. The White House stated that the figure 26% indicated in the attached executive order should be followed. In the Rose Garden, the White House garden, President Trump personally announced this reciprocal tariff rate based on tariff and non-tariff barriers of each country, saying for decades the United States has been pillaged and laughed by countries near and far, friends and enemies alike. If prices rise due to reciprocal tariffs, consumer power is likely to decrease and the economy is likely to slow down. It was expected that the dollar would rise due to expectations of the resolving the trade deficit and preference for safe assets when the Trump administration announced reciprocal tariffs, but it went in the opposite direction that day. This is because concerns about the trade war have intensified as China, which U.S. President Donald Trump imposed a 34% reciprocal tariff on, decided to impose a 34% retaliatory tariff on the U.S. At the annual meeting of the Society of Economic Journalists, SABEW. Chairman Powell pointed out that the scale of Trump's second-term tariff hike was larger than expected, and expressed the concern that tariffs could increase inflation and slow economic growth in the coming quarters. He confirmed his position that after fully observing new data, changes in the outlook and the balance of risks, we will consider adjusting monetary policy. And the market, which had expected the Fed put, was disappointed. The Fed put is when the Fed signals that it will cut interest rates if the economy or financial markets are down, and the market see this as a prop for the Fed. Trump's tariff war could be the trigger for Great Depression level recession. Gross, co-founder and former chief investment officer of gold bond fund Pinko, said on April 3rd local time that the New York stock market plunge was the deep market event with no sign of resolution. In an email that day, Grosso emphasized that investors should not catch falling knives. He said that this sell-off is an economic market event of the similar level to the end of the gold standard in 1971.